Good afternoon to you all. It's a pleasure to be presenting today. My name is Eshwar. That's your presenting to you all the year of Saikumar. All right, so just a little overview of what I'm going to be covering today. Summer, knowledge, professional development, diving into some leadership, service, some fun memories and projects that I've been able to take part in, and some future plans. All right, so summer recap. This summer I was able to partake in two experiences. One, I was full time at the laser spectroscopy and propulsion lab here at UTSA under Dr. Pineda. This was a really cool experience, as I had never experienced what research was like, and to be at the forefront of that, working alongside grad students and the projects that they're doing, it was a very enlightening experience. Especially, it sparked a lot of interest as well for me. So some of the pictures we have here at the top is the horizontal bandsaw in the makerspace, and what I'm putting there is what's called T-slot. T-slot, it's aluminum extrusion, and it's really nice because it has a lot of slots, so you can make structures really easily. And in that right picture there, you can kind of see some of the structures. I didn't make those specifically, but that's what T-slot is. I had miscut some of those T-slot so many times, and I had to do that so many times, the same cut. I think it was like 12 inches versus 12 and a half. And so good learning experience there, kind of a refresher on machining. Over here on the right, under a grad student named Laura, I was able to assist in spectroscopy data collection. So essentially with laser spectroscopy, what we're doing is we're shining a laser into a gas cell or a fiber optic. And so there's a bunch of gas being pumped in, and with the laser, we're going to be measuring, I guess, the composition of the gases, and how they're behaving. And this has some outer space applications, which I'm not fully qualified to talk about as course-wise, but yeah, it was really cool experience, and I learned a lot by talking to my graduate course. And another exciting thing was studying in Costa Rica this past summer as well. It was part of the honors course, Intentional and Sustainable Living here in Costa Rica, and it was crazy, I'm not gonna lie. So I had the opportunity for 10 days to stay at Rancho Margot, which is a fully self-sufficient eco lodge. And what that means is it is almost entirely sovereign from the outside world. All the electricity, food, water is all fully from the rainforest and fully provided and produced in the rainforest. I think they have to like get a few things from outside, but they're like almost at a point where they can fully cut off the rest of the world. And so what I was able to do here was volunteer by working on a farm. I was able to go help build a garden at a school, learning about, I guess, like natural medicine in a way. Learning about, we were able to make our own cheese, and my cohort was 8 people, so we were very enlightening experience. All right. So moving on to our next section, knowledge and professional development. So my classes for the fall are following circuits, things like thermo, differential equations, dynamics, materials. This was my first time diving into the full engineering rigor. And essentially before this, I had taken a lot of math classes, some freshman engineering courses that pretty easy, I'm not gonna lie. So this was a pretty big jump for me. I also really discovered that I loved engineering through these courses. They were a lot of fun. Very difficult. Dynamics and thermo, especially, I really struggled in. I couldn't understand why. Through the whole semester, I was just pounding my head. Why am I struggling in these classes when I'm enjoying the subject matter? It turned out to be things like the way I'm studying. And so in the spring, when I bounced back, I was able to reflect, how was I studying? How can I change my study habits? Whether that be being active, also having a better diet, things like that, changing those variables as opposed to the fall. Some exciting things about those fall classes. Over here on the top left, we have a stress strain curve. That's all of materials engineering pretty much. That one, like specifically, is a random one. However, in our lab, we were able to literally stretch metal. So that was pretty cool. Some tensile testing. We were able to do some cold working, which is essentially you make a metal really hot, really cold, and you test how its properties have adjusted, like hardness, toughness, and whatnot. And I really, really enjoyed that class. In the spring, we have numerical methods, Thermo 2, a second time, which I was honestly terrified for. Mechanics of solids, measurements and instrumentation, and business information systems for the team. So pretty much with these classes, I'm also really, really enjoying it. Numerical methods really dives into MATLAB. If you're familiar with MATLAB, it's pretty much code as a calculator, and we're accounting for 99% of all math, because most math you can't do by hand. Numerical methods allows for us to do a lot of data processing and whatnot. Two things over here. One thing on the left, me and my two teammates for Thermo 2, we were able to take apart an engine and really dive into the components of that. And so over on the top, that's kind of what a diagram in Thermo looks like. And to actually take apart an engine and see the physical components going into action, that was pretty neat. And over here on the right, for measurements and instrumentation, my teammates and I were making a kitchen scale using a load cell, Arduino principles. We're coding in C as well, so it's been a really fun activity, which I'm going to present that actually next Tuesday, because we're almost done with the scale, and it's been a while. All right, so moving on to LSCPL. So same lab that I was in over the summer, the laser spectroscopy and chemical propulsion. I continue to assist with spectroscopy and like the data acquisition side. And additionally, over here on the right side, I remember at the end of my freshman year, I had completed a design for, I guess, a counterweight stage. So to briefly sum it up, essentially what I'm doing is there's a laser that needs to shoot into a flame to take measurements, and we need to make sure we can precisely move the flame up and down, hence the counterweight and a translation. So we can kind of move up and down. So it's got a pretty fancy water-jetted metal plate there. And I was finally able to close it off at the beginning of the semester by having a 16-pound hunk of steel, putting 2 eye bolts in it. And yeah, it looks kind of weird, but it works and it's pretty cool. But my main focus throughout the fall and continuing on the spring was flare electronics. So what is flare? Flare was Flame and Advanced Rocket Experimentation Test Facility, so the flare facility. And so what we're doing is we need a way to test the rocket engines that are being developed. And to do that, we need to take measurements of things like temperature, pressure, and have valves that are actuating. And so to do that, we need electronics, and hence why we need circuit boards. That was a really, really fast overview, but pretty much over here on the bottom are 2 of the circuit boards that I'm designing. One's off my laptop and one's the actual schematic of what it looks like. As a mechanical engineer, it was kind of weird that I was doing electronics, but honestly, I hated it at first, but I've like slowly started to love it. And it's been a lot of fun ever since. So a lot of late nights, a lot of learning, a lot of simulation testing, but it's a lot of fun now. I really enjoy the circuits aspect. Additionally, through the LSCPL, I've been able to co-author 2 different research papers. One, which I'm one of 2 undergrad co-authors on, which is the first one mentioned here, development of UT San Antonio flare test facility, which was presented by our grad students at the AIAA SciTech conference, which is one of the biggest aerospace conferences in the nation. And it was also published on the NASA technical reports server. So I remember my teammate called me in the middle of January and he's like, yo, we just got on NASA. I looked at my phone, I was like, what? And then we opened it up and there our name was and there our paper was. And it was really, really cool, especially as a first paper. And so the second one here for low noise control and instrumentation electronics for that same flare test stand, I was actually going to be able to do a lot more with, which was the AIAA Student Paper Conference. AIAA is the American Institute for Aeronautics and Astronautics, and we were able to participate. Me, my teammate Victor, and Abraham were able to present at Rice University at the Region 4 Conference. This was a crazy experience. It was my first exposure to a research setting, how technical writing was supposed to look, how technical presenting was supposed to look. Here's another look at what the PCB actually looks like for one of them. There's a total 6 and a full data acquisition setup for this rocket test stand. So over here on the far right, we see all of the people from my lab who were able to go, the undergrads, and the legend, Dr. P, and another PhD student, who was Grace. And over here on the right, I'm presenting. I look like I'm saying something important. Hope I was saying something important. That's what our cover slide looked like. I just thought I'd throw that in there because I thought it was pretty cool to have all 3 of our names in orange there. And in addition to this just being a research conference, I gained a lot of clarity as to my major and the concentration that I wanted to pursue. Aerospace engineering was something I was really on the fence about, and I wasn't really sure how passionate I was. And after this event, and honestly, just looking at all the different presentations, also from our own UTSA students, but also schools like Oklahoma State and whatnot, I was really inspired by some of the work that they were doing. So hopefully next year, we're going to tackle conference again and bring the big prize home. So two other, I guess, side quests that I was doing in pursuit of knowledge. One was being a grader for a multivariable calculus class under Dr. Akibe. This would mean grading 300 students for 11 assignments, 10 hours a week. And honestly, that was a lot. The reason I kind of wanted to do this was teaching is something I've been pretty passionate in. I really like venturing in robotics, and maybe pursuing like the career path of a professor was something I was looking at, and grading was a big part of that. So I wanted to step into their shoes, kind of see what they see on the other end, as I'd taken this class just the previous semester, and it's a lot. I understand it. I very much respect my professors for the amount of work this takes to effectively provide students some feedback. Additionally, I was going to be able to be a part of ASME, which is the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. I was a national member. I attended a lot of meetings. I was able to network with a like-minded community of engineers. I think one of the takeaways from that was there was a dinner event in fall semester where we were able to work with, and Ramon here also went with me, and with UT San Antonio professors, specifically Dr. Grimy and Dr. Gonzalez, and we're also able to meet some engineers from Sweary and Caterpillar. And the discussions were honestly crazy. I think it was really insightful to have industry experts and also academia experts talk and just kind of observing what they're talking about and like the world issues of engineering. So really, really insightful experience there. Moving on to leadership, this year I was fortunate enough to serve as a TSSO Director of Public Relations. I managed the Instagram for the Top Scholar Student Organization. I got to make a lot of cool flyers on Canva, as you can see here, and take some pictures, post it. And honestly, going to these socials was a lot of fun. We had an outstanding board. The events and everything that were going on were really, really fun. So I enjoyed this a lot. And as for my own thing, I was able to host an alumni networking event with our alumni, Kato, Ethan, Margot, and Tejas. And that was a team's call. That was pretty cool, kind of seeing where they're all at. They all zoomed in. I was like, hey, I'm in Colorado. Hey, I'm in so-and-so, a different state. I'm in a different city. This is where I've gone back and forth, and this was my journey. And seeing, I guess, how successful some of these alumni have been was honestly very inspiring, and they really led me through, I guess, their journey and kind of gave the reassurance like, hey, like, y'all are still freshmen, maybe y'all are sophomores, you're still figuring it out. And so it was really, really cool to see how the alumni were giving back. And I honestly wish to do the same when I become an alumni. And lastly, was able to host a study social, which was Calm Study Sesh. I don't know why I called it that, but a lot of people showed up, and it was a good time, got a lot of work done, and had some snacks as well. And being part of the board, I was selected from our group to go to the USPA conference, USPA Scholars Summit specifically, which is the Undergraduate Scholars Program Administrators Association. Just a mouthful, but this was really cool. I think this was honestly one of the highlights of my fall semester. At the University of Nebraska, Omaha, a lot of flagship scholar programs from across the country, from different universities, all meet at this convention to kind of discuss like, hey, like what's working well for us and what's not working well for us. How can we collaborate and make our respective programs better? And there was a lot of workshops hosted and like talks hosted by some of the universities. UTSA presented. We did not present about anything. However, we were able to give feedback to a lot of the universities about kind of what we're doing and how maybe they can implement it. I think this also put into perspective how much like we are blessed to have like such a wonderful staff. I think a lot of like the perspective of top scholars really put into play for me here, because it's honestly crazy the opportunity that we have, and seeing other programs. I think our program is top tier. I can't lie, it's crazy. One thing I would like to highlight is there was a talk from a Texas Tech professor about the art of underperforming. We had a really, really cool activity about with poker chips, actually. That was one of the activities, and you had red ones and blue ones, and you had to kind of transactionally, give your energy for like work output, and you're kind of pretending that you're in a work environment. So it's like, how much energy do I have to give to have like a really, really good result at work? You obviously want to have the most energy, but be the most effective at work. And really put into perspective, like you can't waste your energy in certain areas when other areas are meant to. Moving on into service, I think my favorite thing that I do is my involvement with FIRST Robotics. FIRST has been an integral part of my life. I had the opportunity to be an MC and game announcer for the Hill Country San Antonio FTC League. Additionally, as pictured here with Edgardo and Adi, I was doing some adopt a spot cleanup. One of the events that we had this semester was the San Antonio Food Bank event. And I also put mentor on here. I was a little bit more involved than I was last year. I was able to do some CAD review for my little brother and his team. And lastly, most recently going on is our sophomore cohort project, where we were going to be able to raising money, we're collecting children's books, and we went door to door knocking on the doors, and we were able to get children's books. Sorry about that spoiler.
Big, it might just be taking a while to load.
Thank you.
Yeah, like walk with the keyboard closer to the center. There you go. They will fire you for technical.
Yeah, so sorry about that. Transitioning from service to some fun and memories I've had. I've been able to pursue 2 personal projects alongside of things that I'm doing. One of them was kind of a dream project coming true using Top Scholars Enrichment Funding, which was a custom RC drag card. Ever since COVID, I've been really, really excited about RC drag cards, and I really, really want to build one. And through Top Scholar, I was able to get the funding and modify my own car that I had with a lot of commercial off-the-shelf components. I was able to present at the ELF, which I placed 3rd in, which was pretty cool. It's a '78 Chevy Malibu, which is it's pretty nice. The goal is for it to go 80 miles an hour. However, I'm having a little bit of issue with suspension, so it's going to kind of be ongoing. I'm going to fix it this week and kind of see where we go from there. Additionally, something I'm doing with the Aeronautics and Rocketry Club is my EEE L1 certification. What that means is to launch a rocket in certain grades of motors, you need a certain amount of, safety protocols. And so building an L1 rocket has been one of my first things. Using Open Rocket over here on the left, I've been able to create a design, and my fins are right there mounted, and I'm almost done with this. I have some more updated pictures as well. Now a few final steps are left before the big launch, I guess. So I'm looking forward to that. Some memories and fun. I've been able to experience a lot of things this year. I went to Austin. I traveled to India to visit my family. I hadn't seen them in 2.5 years. Here's some just memories from my friends. This is me and my little after we had played paintball. A couple more things. I've been going to a lot of Spurs games, so that's been good. This is when Edgardo and I, we swept the Big and Little competition, so that was a lot of fun. I've been involved. Hopefully, Top Scholar can create one at some point, but I play basketball with the Terry Scholars. Yeah, I don't think we won a single game, but that's okay. I watch a lot of cricket still. That's been a really big part of my life. And yeah. So some future plans. Pleased to announce I'll be interning as a manufacturing engineer at Avanzar Interior Technologies. This company focuses on automotive interiors. Specifically, they're a supplier for Toyota, so I'll be working on seats, doors, phones, and it's going to be full-on robotic automation manufacturing. I'm really, really excited to see what this will bring. In addition to this, to kind of get ahead for some hopefully future junior plans that hopefully will go into play will be life through time and engineering economic analysis. So pretty busy summer, but I'm really, really looking forward to it. And just briefly on my fall plans, these are the classes I'm going to be taking: manufacturing engineering, machine element design, fluid mechanics, systems and control, the lab for that, and foundations of accounting. As far as involvements go, I'm still going to be with the lab, still continuing ASME. I have AIAA question mark on there because I have applied to be an officer and I don't know how the results are going to turn out yet. And I still do have a few more things that I want to get involved with, but I'm not sure yet. This internship will kind of, I think, steer the direction of what the extra involvements look like. But as for now, these are some of the locks that I have. So remarks and regards, as always, I want to thank the special program staff, Assistant Dean Meyer, who was given so much advice to me, Mr. Villarreal, Ms. Foster. I want to thank Dr. P, all of my graduate mentors in research lab, a lot of my undergraduate peers, Victor, Abraham, and Nathan at that. My fellow top scholars, they've always been there for me. Friends, family, my parents, my brother, my family as well. Without them by my side, I could not be writing today. So thank you so much for your time today.
Well, really good job and great year. I think you're doing probably more than you're definitely doing more than I had realized, and your accomplishments in the area of academics in particular, I think are pretty impressive. I'm excited for you for this internship. And also let me just say, I appreciate the mentoring you do for our younger scholars and getting them involved. And I hope you'll kind of continue to do that. Just encourage that academic exploration over in engineering. So great, really great job. Really good job. So I want to invite George and Dr. Pineda for if they have comments, and then others in the room.
So I want to echo what Christy said. I think it's been a great year for you in terms of involvement and in terms certainly of the mentorship she speaks of. We loved hearing the report back that not only you, but each of you that attended the Scholar Summit had for us. And I think it's really helpful when we send scholars to environments like that to network and to learn not just about how they can kind of tweak their programs a little bit, but also what they're already doing really well. So I think this has been a great year for you. I think that's also a pinnacle, as you had highlighted, of your year. Great job. And yes, we look forward to hearing more about this internship on your return.
Yeah, I mean, watching and being a part of Eshwar's journey has been a really fantastic experience for a lot of us in the lab. I think that we've been able to see him grow into, a curious young mind, into someone who's feeling a lot more capable and able to take on challenges that are ahead of them. And it's really great to see, figuring out what you want to do. Because I know in the beginning, it's always very much be interested in everything, but you only have so much time. And so that's been great to see you shape, your capabilities and your, how you want to, what you want to do with it and what you've done. And I'm excited to hear that you're more interested in aerospace now than you were. But yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And I'm looking forward to helping you with the next steps for everyone in the lab. We're just glad that you're a part of our journey and we're a part of yours.
I also want to see you come up with another really unique project like your race car project, because I thought that was really great. Other folks have any thoughts for Eshwar?
I just want to say it's been an honor being able to be your roommate this year. I've seen us grow a lot together. You know, late night talks about every single aspect of life, whether it's engineering, relationships, friendships, school, whatever it could be, we can talk about it. And being able to grow with you and being able to exchange information. You know, I was helping you with RC car and you helped me with other engineering stuff like math and all that stuff. So I just want to say it's been great to see you grow this year and I can't wait to see what next year holds for you.
I want to say like just a little like story. I remember when I was joining Top Scholar and when I was at the banquet and Eshwar was speaking on the panel, and I remember like leaving that room and I was like, that guy is so freaking cool. I literally thought so highly of Eshwar before even meeting him, and I was like, that's something which is I love Top Scholar. Like, oh my god, there's amazing people doing this, and to this day I feel the exact same way now. Even knowing you better, you truthfully succeed in everything that you do, and you do so many things. And like I couldn't be more proud of you, man. And I couldn't be happier to be your little. You've always been there for me. Eshwar is always texting me like, "Hey man, how you been? How things are going?" And I'll see him every once in a while. But huge congrats! I can't wait to see what you do, man. For sure.
Last comment, because we got another student.
So, I never would have expected joining this scholar community at UCSA to have someone in the same major as I and to go on the same journey as you. Are a bit ahead in the class I'm taking, which is like good and bad because I can't take them with you, but you also can tell me what they're like and what I should plan for and whatnot. But I'm extremely grateful to have you in my journey as a fellow mechanical engineer, and I'm excited to see what we do